morning, everyone.
Good
Stephanie
morning.
and Buddy Denman from the Denman Homestead. Denman Homestead. We're walking up to the History Farms,
Living History Farms.
To do the tour. Man, I cannot.
It's early. We're only one cup of coffee in, so
cup.
you gotta forgive us for some of the, I don't know, tongue twisters of regular, normal words that we're having this morning.
Okay, well, see you on the inside.
Tractor train.
Yeah, so today just happens to be their
Emancipation Day event.
Yes, they've got a lot going on. Too
One
bad.
of them is baking bread pudding.
Man, I'm kind of interested in that. And it's an all-day event. Maybe they're already starting. Because we won't be able to be here all day.
It's at the 1900 farmstead.
Okay.
I think we're going to get dropped off at the 1700s farmstead first.
Okay. She said the tractor runs every 30 minutes or so. So we have to get on the tractor and they'll take us around.
Yeah, we're going to see...
Can you stop for a second?
We're going to see a 1700s farm, an 1850s pioneer farm, 1900s farm, and then we've got, I don't know what this is, some kind of mound, earthen mound.
It's a bathroom.
Oh. Well, it looks like an earthen. And then, so we'll walk this, and then we'll get on after we see all the different farms, we'll get on and we'll head into their recreation of an old town. And this is where they have like all the events and stuff going on. There's a mansion, the Flynn mansion.
Yeah, the Flynn mansion, she said, is original to the site, which she said you'll be able to see how rich a rich farmer actually lived here on site. And there's like a printing, let me just see, a print shop. This is going to be super cool.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Farm, Iowa became a state December 28, 1846, so this farm would depict Iowa 3.5 years in statehood on the prairie. They use oxen for power, and the oxen are actually up to 1700 farm in a pasture up there, so you go see them, look at them at 1700. And they have a little log cabin out there, like a little house on the prairie. It's pretty nice. The last farm's a 1900 farm, a little bit more modern. They use horses for power. They have a house out there, a lot of people says reminds them of their grandparents or great-grandparents' house. It's pretty nice, but still pretty primitive. No running water, no electricity, and he's a little bit too young, but for the kids I say, no Wi-Fi and no internet. And then you hear the, oh.
1700 is about 323 years ago, to be precise. Now, what you guys are looking at around you is the Iowa site. The Iowa is actually where the state, the name state actually comes from. The Iowa are the native indigenous people of Iowa. Now, what you guys can do for me, you got a few options. So, number one, you guys can stick around up here in the shelter. We have a lot of cool signage up here. It'll get you a lot of information to help acquaint you with the site. If you don't want to do that, we also have some cool stuff here on the tables and in the case, and I can answer any questions you guys have about that stuff.
Look at this garden. Can you imagine?
A deer antler rake.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty smart. And a bone.
Mm-hmm. Bone hoe.
Mm-hmm. Bone hoe. Neat.
That is cool. It's rubber, but I think it's supposed to be bark.
Oh.
I don't think it's supposed to be leathers, but it's made of rubber.
Like a recreation?
Mm-hmm.
This is actually the drying rack for the Iowa.
Oh, nice.
Now, generally, we're not going to be drying out meat here. This is actually where we're going to be drying out the three sisters of life. It's actually the crops that we have planted over there in that garden. So we got corn, we got beans, we got squash. Now, the reason we're drying them out is because the Iowa actually don't have access to salt back here in 1700. So preferred method of is going to be drying out for saving all the food.
Okay. Right. Very cool.
Neat. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no problem. We actually have some of the examples of the food down at the kitchen. If you guys want to
Can I ask you about this? Is that supposed to be bark or leather?
That is actually supposed to be bark.
Okay.
The reason it looks kind of like that is because that's a synthetic elm bark. Only reason it's synthetic, we actually used to be able to go strip off real elm bark trees. Elm tree disease came through the state of Iowa a while ago and actually ruined the elm tree population. So we no longer are able to do that. So that is a synthetic molded off of an elm tree. So same color, same texture.
Great.
Okay, cool.
We actually have that on our garden hut. We also have that over here on our summer lodge as well.
Gotcha.
Very nice. I want to build a reed hut.
At the river?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I mean, it looks like the door that you made.
Yeah, it does. Go in.
Actually, it's woven.
Take them home. Wow, it's all woven.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. It's actual hide.
Mm-hmm.
So we're leaving the Iowa tribe, which is the Native American tribe that the state gets its name from, and we are walking through time to a pioneer home in 1850. And essentially from 1700 to 1850, basically all the Native Americans here in Iowa just got manipulated to sign treaties that made them lose all their land. So by the time the pioneers were here, the Iowa were pretty much all gone.
Sad.
Yep. And we are approaching the 1850 farmstead.
These are huge. I wonder what kind they are. There are mulberries everywhere around here.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. They're just like growing wild.
Okay. Very nice.
This is cool. Like their barn?
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, the barn would have been used more as a tool shed rather than an actual place to have animals.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Make me a spoon. I can't even imagine riding in that.
But it was not a comfortable ride.
I bet not. This is an adorable home, though.
Yeah, this is awesome. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Wow, I got the fire going and everything.
Wow.
You guys been to the museum before?
We have not.
Not? Well, welcome into our 1850 log cabin. So this is going to be the cabin of a pretty young farm. It's only 3 or 4 years old. People did not want to live here forever. They wanted their farms to be successful enough that they could afford to build a bigger, nicer farmhouse to live in.
Mm-hmm.
So we're thinking about like our 1900 farm down the road is this farm. This farm, 50 years in the future, it's grown, it's matured. They have that farmhouse, they have that nice big barn that they can keep animals in. They've increased the kinds of number of animals that they're keeping. But for now, in 1850, we're pretty rustic living. So feel free to look around, ask any questions you might have. If you guys don't want to stay inside and the weather's really nice, we do have a chicken coop and a smokehouse out to the left. We have no chickens right now. We had a raccoon problem, so our chickens have been moved to 1900 where it's a bit safer. The roots are out to the right, but you're also free to look around in here and ask questions about the stuff that's in here.
Okay, time to time travel to the 1900s.
Yep.
50 years past. What she was saying in there was that she was saying that basically this little homestead, this pioneer homestead, it's what you would start at, and eventually what we're walking to now is what you would hope to achieve 50 years in the future with the 1900s farm that we're going to right now. It was the dream. It was the dream that if you were in this log cabin 50 years from now, you'd have the farmstead that we're going to now.
Mm-hmm. She'll be coming down the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming down.
As an Iowan march.
Oh.
Wow, they actually do it like that.
Mm-hmm. It is really clear. It's really peaceful.
It's a babbling brook.
We've arrived.
All right, 1900s. We're 50 years in the future, and horses power the farm. The railroad that crossed here allowed the farmers to actually profit off of their crop. My hand's tall, my babe. Let me stand up straight.
You are 17 and a half hands.
Oh, God.
Yeah, your hand was a little. Here,
Yeah.
do me.
17 and a half hands. Would that be a good horse?
I think so.
You
I think
are
you'd be a really tall horse.
almost 16 and a half hands.
Mm.
Just a little under.
Cool. I think the horse that I grew up on was 15 hands high.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's to their back, not their head. Imagine walking up and this is your house.
Mm-hmm.
You go up the driveway and smoke out of the chimney.
Yeah, they got the fire on.
Wow. So cool. Plow, the tractor seat.
All right. In the barn. So now,
Wow, look at this. Look at this feed. Esther and Jamie would be set for a while. It's like grain.
mm-hmm.
There's some tall horses.
Calvin.
Calvin's big.
How are you doing, Calvin? Oh, there's another mouse.
Hmm?
Another mouse.
Another mouse?
Mm-hmm. That's why you need a barn cat.
That's exactly why you need barn cats.
Mm-hmm.
Let's tell your mom so she can ship them over here.
Yep.
Nope.
Hmm?
Nope. There's stuff crawling all around me. They're all in the hay, scuttering.
Well, we have some friends over here too.
Oh, do we?
Mm-hmm. Just chilling.
Oh. Okay. Stalls?
I don't know if they're supposed to be in those stalls.
I don't think so. I think that they're... Oh, she just had a baby, it looks like.
Hey, Mama.
She's like, yeah.
Hey. You feel fluffy.
Oh, she is soft.
You are soft.
She's like, yeah. Look at her rubbing her butt back and forth with you.
Uh-huh. That feel good? So that was the barn. Then
What are these? More barns.
that's definitely got animals in it.
Hog shed, maybe?
Pawpaw's definitely been here.
Pawpaw?
Yeah, you know, because as soon as you run out of room in one barn, you just build a second barn.
Absolutely, and then
Then
a
you have
third.
12 barns.
Yeah, if Pawpaw had it his way, this would be his farm.
20 barns, one house.
That's all you need. I smell something. Like
They're
food.
cooking in here?
Bread pudding fresh from the oven on the table. You're welcome to look at. And
Nice.
but beware the stove is still pretty hot.
Okay.
And let us know if you have any questions.
Wow. Got some soap.
Nice.
That's awesome.
It smells so good in here.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, buddy, look.
Oh, wow. A little spice.
I want.
You want it?
I want.
Oh, man. We thought our pantry was big.
Don't even. Oh my goodness. I want this too.
Yeah. This does remind me a lot of Nanny's house.
Yeah. A little churn.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I have that.
Yeah, it's an ice cream maker.
Yeah. Wow. All their soap scraps. I have a bag of those too.
The iron.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I was wondering why my back was so hot.
Wow.
It wasn't all that bad.
That is awesome.
They put me on a white belly.
That's like the Cadillac of wood
Stoves?
heaters.
TV in front of me, and I had a big white aisle in front of me.
Wow,
And if I wanted
buddy.
to watch another TV, there was one in the armrest. So I felt like I did pretty
What is
good.
that?
Bread pudding.
Oh, sorry.
She said that it just came out of the oven.
Wow.
I let you go. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Man.
Red stove is hot.
You wouldn't have to worry about cold days when that stove's going.
No, you would not. You can feel the heat throughout. Your headboard. Sewing machine. Oh, it feels cool
my
right here with that
gosh.
cross breeze. Oh my gosh.
Hey, look at this picture. Oh my gosh. Can you see that? It's like a viewfinder.
Sure is. Yeah, like a magnifying glass almost.
Montgomery Ward catalog.
Nice. How much were things?
Let's see, this is the 1895, so 5 years before.
Ooh, a comb. How much was a comb? 10 cents?
Wow.
Hairpins?
There's an axe hairpin for $1.
Very Viking.
Sterling silver with raised ornamental.
Socks?
Stockings. Cotton hose. Man, they had everything. This was Amazon. This is their Amazon.
This is their Amazon?
Mm-hmm. They'd just be like, in 3 years, it'll arrive.
Yeah.
It's even still wired up.
Yeah, we can get calls on that phone. We don't have an operator anymore, so we can't make calls. But
Wow.
sometimes we get calls on it from other people on the site.
Wow.
There's a dial tone.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Put it up to your mic so you can hear it. No, your mic. That's so cool.
That is cool. Hitching post?
Mm-hmm. Oh, look, outhouse.
Oh, there you go. It's even got the little moon,
Mm-hmm.
little moon symbol on it.
Yep. Found it. Okay, we just left the old 1900s farmstead, and we're headed into
The town,
the
the
town.
1900s town. What it would have been like if you had to take the trek into town.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. It's the broom maker. Good.
How are you?
I'm in need of 700 brooms.
But if you do end up buying a broom like this, you have a test to make sure it's a good broom.
Sorcery.
Wow.
Wow, that's
So,
pretty cool.
If it doesn't stand up, don't buy it.
Very cool. Built in 1870, 152 years old. Original to the property, 7 bedrooms, 5,000 square feet, central heat via a coal furnace. A real family lived here with 10 children in total. Experience how upper middle class family of Irish immigrants
Wow.
lived in Iowa.
Irish immigrants. Huh?
I thought the sign
Look
said
at this
Toronto.
doorknob. Oh my gosh.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you.
Have you guys been here before?
No, we haven't.
All right, well, this house was built in 1870 by Martin Flynn. He's an Irish immigrant that moved here when he was 10. There are 2 levels to this house, so you guys can feel free to wander around, check it out, or if you'd like, I can give you a tour as well. It's completely up to you guys. There's a lot of house to see, so
Yeah.
take it in, that's fine, or we'll be here if you want to ask questions.
Yeah, I'll take a tour. You want to do a tour? Let's
Would
do
you
a
give
tour.
us a tour?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll start over here.
Okay. You said Martin Flynn moved here when he was 10?
Yep.
And then he built this house.
Yes, so
Okay.
he worked his way up through the railroad and became a contractor through the railroad. So that was how he got a lot of his money. He, excuse me, then built this house on his 1,500 acre plot of land, which is a lot of what Living History Farms is still on today. He lived here with his wife and their 10 kids.
Wow.
They had 10 kids over a 17-year time period, which was pretty normal, but he had a very big farm as well. He owned a brick business and a bank in town as well. So this room is the parlor room. This is going to be their fanciest room of the house where they will entertain guests. Their 10 kids were definitely not allowed in here because it was so fancy, and this is where they wanted to show off a lot of their money, which is why they had carpet in here, fancy piano, all of that kind of stuff. So the kids were generally not allowed in here. The doors were usually closed unless they could play piano. Then they would come in here to practice a little bit. This room was supposed to be kind of your most elegant room, the nicest room in the house.
Is this original?
I believe so.
Wow.
Yes. So it's very old, very out of tune, but it is still very nice. And above the fireplace, we do have a picture of Martin Flynn that is him. I get kids that ask me a lot if he was a president ever because he looks very
Presidential.
stoic in that
Yeah.
picture. So you'll note around the house we have a lot of fireplaces as well. None of these fireplaces ever actually had a fire because they had central heating in the house. So all those fireplaces were just for show.
Wow.
Yeah, they had gas lights and running water as well, which was kind of ahead of their time, especially in 1870. And in this room, this is the sitting room. So this would have been the more informal room where the kids would have been able to spend time together. All 12 of the Flynns would have been able to spend time in here. And then along this wall, we have a picture of Mr. and Mrs. Flynn. His wife's name is Ellen, a picture of the house. That's a pretty old picture of it. And there's 5 of their 10 kids along the wall as well.
Why only 5?
Pictures were extremely expensive and difficult to come by, so more than likely these were probably just kids that they could afford to get pictures of at the time. There might be more that we've just lost over time, but these are the 5 that we still have.
Look how close to the ground those chairs are.
Yes, so my dress, if you guys might have noticed, I have a little bustle in the back, so that was what they would have used. That's why the chairs were so low, so they could sit forward a little bit, and the ladies could cross their ankles properly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Pops would never be able to stand back up after he said that.
Yeah, no.
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to stand up on that one either. So this was the kitchen. Typically, the kitchen would have been about 3 rooms. They had a live-in maid that lived here as well. That would have helped Mrs. Flynn throw dinner parties, cook for all 10 of the kids, and all of that. So the kitchen was also the informal area where guests were not going to be taken at any point in time. So kids were taught their manners back here and how to become young, proper people in society.
Wow.
Man, that is
They had lots of brooms.
Yes, yes. We also have our broom maker here in town make a lot of them, or make all of them for us.
Is there anyone here that is still related to the original owners?
After Mr. and Mrs. Flynn's grandkids were born, that was kind of when they really kind of scattered across the U.S. So there are still a couple that are in the Midwest. They'll come by and visit from time to time and kind of point themselves out. When we get upstairs, there is a family tree up there.
Oh.
So we can kind of see that as well.
That's
man.
neat.
So water just came straight into the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat.
Yep.
Indoor plumbing.
Yep, they did have one toilet. It was upstairs, but since there were so many people that lived in the house, they still used chamber pots a lot. One toilet for 13 people was definitely a lot to handle, so
Yeah.
they would have still used the chamber pots, especially in the kids' rooms.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
We'll go up these stairs. These are the service stairs that will lead to the children's room and the maid's room as well.
Man, they had security cameras in 1870.
Right?
Sadly, no.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
This would have been the younger boys' room. We have some clothes, or examples of clothes of what they would have worn to school, some toys and paper kites, all that good stuff. A lot of these toys are very old. I like to point out that none of them are plastic, so we don't have any toys that will really decay. I believe the Noah's Ark set that's sitting there was passed down throughout the family.
Wow.
Wow.
But yeah, and then along this wall is the Flynn family tree as well. It's pretty big, especially since they had 10 kids.
Wow. Yeah.
Then along this hallway we have the maid's quarters and the nursery as well. Again, this was still the informal part of the house, so guests would not have come back here. This was mostly for the family and the maid to just live back here.
Wow, look at the nursery. These rooms are tiny.
Mm-hmm.
What are the little vents through the floor for?
That is where the heat will come through.
The heat
So-
from the kitchen comes into this room here.
Yep, and then it's also vented through, I believe, through another floor this way, or
Wow.
another room this way.
Okay.
So yeah.
Did you see the floor vent?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so this is the master bedroom where Mr. and Mrs. Flynn would have spent time together, gotten ready. I like to point out that men were still wearing nightgowns, so
Mm-hmm.
that was always really fun to point out. A lot of people, a lot of the kids, especially that come through here, are like, oh my goodness, really?
Mr. Scrooge.
Yeah.
Baby
So this was
crib.
one of the 2 bedrooms that was upstairs that did have running water. They have a sink over here in the corner behind the doors. Notice we still have the fireplace down here with just 1 vent, so still never lit any fires in any of these fireplaces. During this era, it was really important to kind of show off that you had money, and so that was one way to do it, was show off that you've got fireplaces, but hey, I have money and I don't really need to light a fire in every room of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow. Very neat. This is the running water.
Is that the Flynn barn?
yes, yeah, the yellowish one that's out there was is original as well. Mr. Flynn had Berkshires. He had different kinds of cattle and sheep, and so that was part of his farm. He was very successful with his Berkshires.
I'm trying to go slow so I don't.
No, you're fine. I'm just
Oh no, you're.
getting ahead so I can
No.
get in here. So This would have
Wow.
been the girls' room. The dollhouse is a replica of this house, which is always really fun. When I grew up coming here, it was very fun to check that out.
So cool.
Yeah, the girls had tea sets. They started playing with tea sets from an early age because they wanted to be able to be young properly at an early age. Now we kind of use them just kind of for fun little tea parties and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they did have a purpose back then. So the mother, Mrs. Flynn, and the maid were both making sure that the girls could handle their tea parties with their dolls appropriately.
So cute.
So very different from how we play with kids today,
Mm-hmm.
or how kids play in general.
This is Ella Flynn.
Yes, indeed that is. I don't know if that's the exact one. I think that might be more of a replica. What they had in here, a lot of the stuff was lost. There was a brief period after Mr. Flynn died, this house and the property were donated to the state, and it became a prison. It was an extension of Fort Madison for prisoners that were on parole. They worked the farm while they continued their parole. So some of the stuff was unfortunately lost or sold during that time period, but then when Living History Farms and the state took it back over as a historical site, that was kind of when everything started to come back together and we started to make it more of like the Flynn Mansion again.
Nice.
This is like a very intricate little wood stove
Yeah.
toy.
This is the mother-in-law suite. This is the second and final room in the house that has running water as well.
Mother-in-law suite?
Yes.
Wow.
The way Des Moines and Clyde and Urbandale are kind of breathing down our necks right now, they didn't really have that back then, obviously. So it took about a day and a half journey to get from the Flynn properties down to Des Moines. So when Mr. Flynn would have businessmen come and go, he would always offer up this room to let them stay for a couple of days to recover from their trip. So if you wanted to make sure that this was a well-equipped, nice room for people to stay for more than just a night or two.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. What did this stairway lead to?
This would have led to the attic, and it's currently used for storage. And even when the Flynns lived there, it was still only used for storage. There were no rooms up there or anything like that. So this was another guest room. While the girls were here and they were a little bit older, this would have most likely been their room as well until they were married off. This was just kind of a bit of a nicer room.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, compared to the maid in the nursery and the little boys' room, this is like 3 of those.
This is one of my favorite rooms. I like it a lot. It's just very bright and cheerful.
Yeah.
So.
It really is.
What does that door lead to?
This door leads to the master bedroom. This door was not originally there. We put it there so we had 2 points of exit for the fire marshal. So
Gotcha.
yeah, normally it wouldn't have been there.
Wow. Very cool. All right. Excuse me. Hi. The wallpaper, is that just a replica as well?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, that would have been. But it was another way, especially since it's so different in every room. That was just another way to kind of show off that they had money. So we'll head back down here. We put all the rooms upstairs. We've got 2 more down here.
Okay.
And this was the formal dining room. This would have been the second nicest room in the house. Since kids were typically not allowed to enter society until they were 12 years old, they would not have been welcome to eat in here. While Mr. and Mrs. Flynn had their guests. This room also has a lot of different references to food in it. The stained glass windows above the door, that's original, also has food on it. There are images of food everywhere because when Mr. and Mrs. Flynn would host their dinner parties, they host anywhere from 10 to 15 or more courses, and they wanted to make sure that when their guests came, they were hungry and ate all of their food. So there's just kind of images of food everywhere. There's a pheasant on the display over here, and on the carpet as well. There are images of animals being eaten.
Oh,
and
sure
I
are.
believe that the color red was a color that really make people hungry, which is kind of like why like today McDonald's, Arby's, Wendy's kind of have the red hues in their labels and stuff.
So different back then. Okay.
Pineapple pudding.
And our final one will be Mr. Flynn's office. This is where he would have conducted all of his business. Business was not discussed at the dinner table. That was meant for something else. So when they were done eating, it was immediately off the dining room, but it's also immediately off the front door. So if he had businessmen come in, they could just come straight in, do their business, do all their talking, and there's a door right here that leads straight out to the barn, so he can talk to them about his farming business as well.
Wow.
So this room was also decorated by Mr. Flynn, so it's not going to be nearly as elaborate as some of the other rooms. It's going to be simple, definitely more geared towards a man's taste. Which is why we've got all of the books and all of the taxidermied animals across the room as well.
Is this his original library?
Those are books that he probably would have had. They're
Okay.
topics that would have been very relevant to him. They're also books that were time period accurate as well.
Nice.
Wow. This is so cool.
Well, thank you so much for the tour.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming in. Do you guys have any questions for me?
No.
I don't know. You did great. Well, I do have a question. Is the dress that you're wearing, is that appropriate to the time period as well of what you would have seen them wearing?
Yep.
Neat.
It's like an actual little like fountain pen.
Okay, you want to go check out the barn?
Yeah. Thank you again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for coming in.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
That was super cool.
Yeah. I cannot even imagine
Yeah.
living like that. I would want to be wealthy. I think I don't know.
Just showing off your money by not having to light a fire in your fireplace.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. That was beautiful. Seriously, what a barn.
That is insane.
For real.
You fit 3 of their houses.
I'm just going to do this so you can pause if you want to read it. That's what it would have looked like, just the house and the barn and fields.
Wow.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow.
This is insane.
Insane.
Oh, the loft is gone. Okay. So there was a loft.
So that's going to be our main thing. In fact, we've got one blade over here, which is a good example of all that stuff we're going to need to fix. Yep. So this is a plowshare, otherwise called plow blade. This is the part that's actually going through the dirt to turn it over, which means this is the part taking the most abuse. Because besides dirt, this is hitting rocks, and there are a lot of rocks in these fields. So if you hit those, I can do things like warp a blade, beat up the edge of your blade, and if you hit them hard enough, break your blade. So this has got a big crack in the front of it. That was from hitting a rock in a field. This is actually a blade at one point was used in our farms in the 1970s when this first turned into a museum. At that point though, we do have replacement blades for things, and since nobody here is a fully professionally trained smith, don't really trust any repairs on this to be safe enough to have somebody else use. So this is a much better use of it to show people what can happen with those blades. And then besides that, the most common thing that's going to happen to this is this blade is also very dull. But it doesn't need to be razor sharp, but you do want a bit of an edge because it's still going to have to be able to cut through roots and all the other stuff that's growing in that field that you need to cut so you can turn over your dirt. So that's going to be the most common thing we fix. Or
General store.
Mm-hmm. General store would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs. Look at that church straight ahead. How pretty.
Yep. It's like the center point of the
Mm-hmm.
town.
Attorney at law. He lived here too?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is the lawyers.
Okay. This is a robbery. Put your hands up. Wow.
Not much security. I mean, the vault's right there behind it.
Yeah.
Old Abe Lincoln.
Oh, wow.
Little different stamps.
I don't think I would like to be a banker back in the day. I think it would be a pretty dangerous job.
It's just funny because they make where the teller stands so secure looking with the bars and everything, but then it's just like, I could just walk right here. Very
Wow.
cool.
It's a beautiful building.
Mm-hmm. Got that green money theme on all the lamps. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're printing the Emancipation Proclamation, right?
Oh, yes. We got the weather held up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
Look at these little tiny.
Mm-hmm. This is so she just puts the ink on it.
So this press was never really meant to be a production press. The bigger presses actually have rollers built into their mechanism. So the job presses, for instance, will do 10, 12 copies a minute. But this one was meant to give you that first copy of something that you could proofread. So you're really not meaning to make 500 of them.
Mm-hmm.
You really just wanted one. There you go. And if you want to grab a hold of there.
Wow.
So this would be enough for you to check your spelling errors. You could show it to a customer and say, okay, this is what you have in mind before you do 500 of them.
Like the proof. That's cool.
Wow.
That is awesome.
So cool. How long would it take on average to set all of this up?
For this particular piece, the typeface that we're using is, I think it's at least 24 point. So it's pretty good sized. So we could probably do this in an hour. The newspaper, what you see in the bed of the press there is page 1 and 4. If I had to do that by myself, there's a good 25, 30 hours with it. It's just so much tinier and there's so much finessing with column space.
Even 25 to 30 hours seems not very much for all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
That's a
a small
lot.
town usually puts out a paper once a week.
Okay. So they're spending the whole week getting it ready.
And then that also gives them time to do job printing, which is business printing of any other kind.
Okay.
And this shop would likely have 4 to 6 people working in it.
Okay.
When you get into a bigger city, Davenport, Des Moines, I think Cedar Falls, actually had daily papers, but they also have 25 people working in each.
Yeah.
And their column ads, even in our weekly paper, they're not going to change much from week to week. We're going to give our best ad rates for leaving something with us a month, so we don't have to change those out.
Okay, that makes
Gotcha.
sense. Yeah, incentive to keep it in there, and
Mm-hmm.
then you don't have to do. It's less work for you.
It's less resetting.
Right.
You guys are welcome to take
Thank
it with,
you.
but it will be wet today.
Okay,
So.
thank you so
Okay.
much.
What is the
You're
ink
very
made out of?
welcome. Pardon?
What is the ink made out of? Or
The ink that we are using is made out of soy oil. They would have been using something that's based in linseed oil, so flax, and it's really goopy. It's not meant to be runny. Instead, it's meant to be thick enough that if you put it on press plates, it's not going to drip off.
gotcha.
So the humidity just kind of concentrates that.
What
Yeah.
adds the black to the oil?
Usually carbon.
Okay,
Carbon.
So that's why black is
like charcoal.
usually, lamp blacking.
Okay,
So it's usually the cheapest of the colors.
Mhm.
But by the 1870s, they are producing what's called an aniline dye, and it's synthesized from coal tar.
okay,
So we could do reds and purples and bright greens and blues.
interesting.
It just depended on how much we kept in stock, whether we could do it immediately or whether we'd have to charge you a special order.
Right. Very cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. That's awesome.
That's where you got all of your hats and your ribbons.
Mm-hmm.
Fancy goods is what it's called. Fancy goods.
Fancy goods.
But it would be right next to the church.
Yeah. Why does it smell so good over here?
It does smell good.
Man, you could just look, right? You would be ringing the bell from the bell tower, looking out at your town as they all start congregating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Heading towards the church.
Cool. Smells like a church.
Yeah.
Smells like church. If I say it smells like church, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that
old
dusty wood, old organ. There's the baseball fields.
Yep.
I went and played baseball.
1900s baseball field.
Okay. Well, we're going to head back to the RV so we can hit the road, but this was awesome.
Yeah, this was a cool stop.
Yes. Say it again.
Living History Farms.
Living History Farms in Iowa. And if you're ever out this way, you should definitely check it out. I really wish we could have brought the kids to this. Maybe if we're ever back in the area, we'll bring them back, but it's so cool just to go back in time. So,
yeah.
All right, well, thanks for hanging out with us here, and we're getting back on the road.
See you later.
Bye.